Hey everybody, my name is Tanya Bonatatabas. I'm with Savannah River Keeper, and I am here with a group of friends to introduce you to Know Your River. So I have with me today Melanie Sparrow, who's with Ogeechee River Keeper. We have Lindsay Wallace and Roscoe Peters from Newfields, and then Brett Buffington with Savannah River Keeper. So we'll jump right into it, and hope you like what you see. So Know Your River is a website that started out, as a project to look at the known sample spots on the Savannah and the Ogeechee rivers and look at supplementing them. We were looking and thinking at the time that there was about 60 spots that we'd be able to find. We quickly got over 2,000. So we have created, this is a one-stop shop website for you to access federal, state, local data and citizen collected data in one place, hopefully in an easy to use format. Currently we have the website and we're looking to launch the app here in the next couple of weeks. So if you scroll down, it's very easy. You go to Know Your River. You have currently in surface water, you have over 2,000 unique sample spots. There are far more than that if you include surface water and recreation. We've pulled from 27 different agencies, and currently there's one health advisory this month. That number will update each month depending on from the citizen collected data that we'll get into in a few minutes, how many health advisories have been put out. So this is our water quality map. When you first pull it up, the first map you'll see is the recreation map. I have to give it a second. I'm gonna public library. There we go. All right. So as you can see, there's a lot of information on this map. You can click find your address very easily. You can put in, if you have your location turned on your computer, you can automatically find your location or enter in any address. Through here, we have the state parks, the regional, the national parks, county. You have listed all of the different boat landings that we are aware of, water trails that are listed, hunting locations, and then also some information on the quality of the water in the stream. So impaired waterways, so waterways that are deemed for some specific use, usually fishing, and are failing to meet those criteria for different reasons. Fish advisories, so fish consumption advisories from the EPA to let you know whether the fish in that area, which ones are safe and which ones are not. So as you can see, and then the river basins. I will back out just a little bit because we're looking just at Augusta, and I'll give you an idea of the breadth of this map. So this is the entire Savannah and Ogeechee basins, which is about a quarter of Georgia and maybe an eighth of South Carolina. Each one of these locations, you could just simply click on the dot. It'll give you the information. So this is a DHEC warning. In South Carolina, when a stream is known to have difficulties or it is impaired, they record that by a point. In Georgia, you actually see these lines. So those are actually the same kind of data, but visually in a slightly different way. So I've jumped over to Grove Creek, which is in the headwaters of the Broad River. This is a stream that is not supporting its current uses. And why? And it's because of fecal coliform. So you can get the general information about why it is impaired. And you actually can click through and it will take you to different information on that point. So the more you zoom in, the less you will get. But pretty much anywhere that you click on this map, it will give you, see there's one of 4 here. So that will take you specifically to that boat landing. You can click here to go to the map, the website. But as you go, it'll give you other general information in that area. What basin is it in? What fish consumption advisories exist in that area? And what's your big lake? So again, I think this is the one that the public will use the most. We encourage you to check it out often. This is a whole lot of information. If you are interested in turning on and off, say you're not interested And anything except for the public boat landings, you could easily click on and just get those boat landings. Or you want to know the impaired streams next to boat landings. So you can really kind of play with this data. This is a huge amount. If you're interested, this is one of my favorite things about this thing. It's a huge data set, but you can actually get really, really detailed reaches of each one of these streams. So if you are interested, where does Stevens Creek go? You can tell at a very minute detail exactly where that watershed is. The other thing you can easily change is the base map. So say you want a topographic map instead of the street, or if you want imagery with labels, all of the maps you can change as you see fit in this base map gallery. All right, so that is the recreation map and the premise of the entire project, just putting all of this data in one place in easily accessible format. We have surface water here. I'm not going to go through each one of these in detail, but I'll give you an idea of what's going on here. So there are this is the one, there's over 2,400 data points on this map alone. And this is a map of all of the sample spots that we know of throughout the Savannah and the Ogeechee Basin related to surface water. See if I can grab it, move it, there we go. So you have a number of different kinds of data in this area. You have all known data points. You can see this is some Georgia Power data, Georgia Environmental Protection Division. You have North Carolina Department of Environmental and Natural Resources, South Carolina DHEC. So it's one of the only places, if not the only place, that exists where you can actually get all of those states' data together in one place. You also have Southeastern Natural Sciences and other entities that are collecting data that are not a regulatory agency or citizen collected data. So these guys are data they are collecting is being accepted by the state, which is slightly different than some of the citizen collected data that is not necessarily CWAP certified. So one of the other cool things about this map, again, all of these layers are click on, click off. But if you look, the live stream gauges for NOAA are in here. So if I go up and turn everything off, except for these live stream gauges, I'm just wondering how we're doing with flooding as the water rises in each one of these locations. Let me click that a little bit better. Turn that one. So there's a lot. So this is what I was talking about before. You really have to zoom in. So there are 33 different sample spots in this area. So there's a whole lot of data that you could look at. But let me zoom in a little bit more. Again, all of this data is accessible. I guess the only other thing you should know is if you click on this, a lot of this data you go down here and it'll say more info. So this says that there's data that is being collected on this site by USGS. If you want to access it, you click here and hopefully that just popped up a new window. It might not have for you, but it takes you to the National Water Quality Monitoring Council, and then you can download it as an Excel spreadsheet. This project is ongoing. Our next step is actually to make that a little bit more visual. And then the last one I'll show you here is any of the places that you see the raindrop. This is actually citizen collected data. This is our guys that are going out in the field once a week. So this is our Savannah Riverkeeper Veterans for Clean Water program. They are using an app that we'll go through in a minute in-house to collect the data, and it gets updated on this map on a regular basis. So you should be able to check here and see what the most recent information that's available is. And then same for groundwater. There's a lot of data points related to groundwater that we've been able to put together between South Carolina and Georgia. If you happen to know of more data that exists and are interested in seeing it incorporated in this, please let us know. But very quickly, so just here in the Augusta, South Augusta area, or excuse me, in North Augusta area between Aiken, you can see a lot of these water wells are water supply. You got a couple of golf courses, but again, you can click on each one of those. It'll tell you the well number, permit number. Social justice is pulling from the EPA social justice website. Pulling in, you have all of your brownfields, which are contaminated sites where no one is responsible anymore. You also have all of your Superfund sites. A Superfund site is a site that somebody is still held responsible. All of these are what's called NIPDES permits. So a NIPDES permit is a permitted discharger into the state. So this is somebody that holds a permit to be able to do, this is construction, for example. If you click the more information, it will take you directly to the EPA's facility detailed report. In that report, you can pull the information of what the current permits are, have they been in violation, et cetera. There's a lot of information available through EPA. But again, this is a huge amount of information. You have a legend you can play with, you can turn it on, off. You can look at who's collecting data where, however you see fit, but all of these links should take you, or points should take you easily back to a location where you can pull that data. And then this last one, the all, is every single one of the layers that is housed in here. So say you want to look at boat ramps versus drinking water wells. This is the place that you would come to do that. And you can play with all of these layers on and off as you see fit. So that is a very brief overview of how the map itself works. And then I'm going to stop sharing for a second. And then I'm going to hand it over to Lindsay, who is going to go through the open data component.
And we were just looking at the water quality maps down here. At the top of the page is a link called Open Data. And when you click on that link, it takes you to, it's where you can get at the data that's used in the maps. So for instance, if you want South Carolina groundwater withdrawals on your map, or you just want to download it, you can click on it. Well, let me back up just a second. You can also search for the layers that you want up here. So I'll just pretend this is the one I wanted and click on it. And you see the map, but you also see this, so details about the data. And if you click on view full details, you get some options down here where you can create a map, create a story. You can view all the metadata. You could download it, but if you want to use it on your map, you can also go to view data source and get the REST service information to just use this in your map. And we have that option for all the layers in this listed in this in the open, sorry, in the open data link. There. Okay.
So next, so this website is first and foremost a data democratization tool. So the idea is getting data into people's hands. But there's another really cool secondary function of collecting that data. Some of the citizens who collected data. So Roscoe, do you mind walking us through a little bit of the data collection component of this project?
So in order to capture data from volunteers, we use a application called Survey 123. And this allows users to be in the field and use their smartphone or smart device to go and input data that's directly uploaded to the cloud and populated onto the map instantaneously. So what you're looking at here are data points that have already been uploaded previously. And the neat thing is we have symbology set up. So depending on the values, the results for E. coli, the point data will automatically symbologize or will automatically color code depending on the breaks. So if you have something that's over 299, you'll have an advisory and it'll be red. So the way this data is entered is through the Submit Data tab. Users will come here and they'll simply click here to submit data, and it'll eventually take them to this page where they will go ahead and click this icon in order to enter data. And they will need a password that will be supplied to them in order to log in to do this. So I already have this password saved into mine, so it won't show you the login screen. It'll automatically take you to the survey. So once you're here, the user will go through, fill out the pertinent information, contact information, location of the sample, and everything else that pertains to the field data. So you'll have your temperature, weather, DO, nitrogen, any animals you saw in the field that day. And there's also a box here where you can enter manually anything that's not listed on the dropdown. Same thing for trash. And also if you've seen any other users out on the water that day. So once you're done, you'll scroll through, make all your entries, get to the bottom and click submit. Once you've done this, your submittal will go directly to our Survey 123 app. And just so you can see what it looks like on the backside, it will be this. So we receive a point marker for every sample that's submitted, and we'll be able to see the spreadsheet with all the data, the submitter, the times, the information they entered, so on and so forth. So within Survey 123, this map layer is then used to populate our map back in the surface water tab. So we come back to the surface water tab, or even the recreations tab, because that layer is listed on in both places. Sorry, my PC is a little slow. All these windows I have open. We'll come back and we'll see that data uploaded to the new, or new data uploaded to a specific point. And then we can go in, like I showed before, and see what was entered. In this case, this was Tanya's entry. We can see when she did it, the conditions, her results, so on and so forth. So that's briefly the process of how data is entered from our volunteers. And now I'll go ahead and give it back to Tanya.
Nice. So that is a general overview of Know Your River, the project, and this is the first. This is the first of a 2-year grant we just finished, and we are now working towards the next phase, which is a number of different upgrades, mainly focused on more data, but trying to keep it as simple as possible to understand, and then working on making it so that it is palatable data. Even as somebody who works in this field, an Excel spreadsheet with 700 different parameters makes me gloss over. So we want to start making this information more visually accessible. But I wondered, so real quickly, Melanie, we've been working with Ogeechee Riverkeeper for a while now, and I wondered if you could talk about a couple of the different ways you thought that your organization is going to use it and why you're excited about it.
Sure. We're really excited about working on this project with y'all, just being watershed neighbors. It's pretty neat. A lot of shared spaces. I work primarily with education and outreach. So I work with a lot of volunteers, and I'm really excited about Survey 123 because as we were going through that just now, I realized so many things that we already do can be combined into one location, which is going to make inputting the data so much easier for the volunteers. And then it'll be more conclusive for us to look at the data that's collected all in one location. So right now we use Georgia Adopt a Stream for water quality monitoring, and eBird and iNaturalist, different apps like that. So even with wildlife observations, this will be great. We do a lot of litter cleanups at the creek and different spots along the river. So we can also share what we find because there's always something interesting that we find in cleanups. So this is really exciting in terms of volunteers. And also we provide a recreation map for folks who want to get out on the river. And I think that this is going to be a really great access point for them to learn more about those recreation spots. What I've found with working with people in terms of recreation is a lot of folks want to get out on the water but don't know how to. And this is a great way to show them safe and accessible points that are close by, or even things that they can travel to. So there's a lot of great uses for this site. And I think as we go along, we'll learn even more.
And then Brett, if you don't mind rounding this out, we've been kind of pushing this for the last couple of days to different markets, just trying to get people's feedback. I wondered if you could give us a little bit of feedback, what you've heard and what you think the impression is so far.
So far from the marketing that we've put out on Know Your River, the response has been overwhelmingly positive. Think about the number of people who use our waterways. For instance, here in Augusta, we have kayak rental companies, and they look for access points and ways to plan their route and make sure that the water is safe when they're putting people who are paying customers for them into the water. This so far, we've gotten responses from 2 of them here that can't wait to see how exactly to use this data, how they can access it. And we fully believe that once there's an app in place, so this is accessible in the palm of your hand, just on your smartphone when you're out on the water, just like when our guys take samples, they'll be able to do the same thing through the app once it's ready to be launched as well. What's not to love about having all of this? And then I'll go into, my background is investigative journalism. I've dealt with having to go dig through EPA records and dig through information from this agency and this agency. So it's incredible that all of this is just in one place, and you go to one site and you look at it, and what's not to love about making life easier for everyone?
I agree with that. So again, just to wrap it out, so this is a completely free website, and it will be a free app. We want everybody to use it. It's called Know Your River. It's not called Know Your Savannah and Ogeechee Rivers, one, because that nobody be able to remember that. But the general idea is that we're using hopefully the Savannah and the Ogeechee as a springboard to start including other areas. So we would encourage you to reach out if you're interested in learning more beyond using it, but how you can bring this to your area. We'd love to work with you. Give us time. We're not going to get there tomorrow, but
I have a question before you leave.
Yes.
I just wanted to ask if anyone knew how many tabs Roscoe had open. The answer is 37.
Is it 37? I was going to say
If you don't count the incognito tab at the end, the answer was 37 plus the one he opened. That's another.
So that answer is incorrect, because what you're missing are the other windows I have open on my second screen. So you're closer to about 50 or 60 tabs.
If you want something done, you ask somebody busy to do it. Well, we really appreciate you guys taking the time to learn a little bit more about the system. If you have any questions, input, please reach out to us. This is a continual process. We're getting better. If you see problems, or if you want to know about other layers you'd like to see here. Fun fact, I didn't talk about it, but every single dam is actually listed. So from the smallest to the biggest. So that's another pocket of data you can dig into. So enjoy the website, and y'all have a great day.